very bright today.
Well, we need to go. We need bright.
We do, because it is still raining here in Southern California. It
Oh,
will never, I mean, it will eventually end sometime tomorrow. And then we've got apparently another atmospheric river coming next week. My poor yard. The cats like to go out in the morning. They're indoor cats, but I go out with them. I have my coffee on the patio and they explore, and they are so annoyed. Rocky was clawing at the slider to get out. I said, it's wet out there. You're not going to like it. Of course, do they believe me?
right.
No. They
No.
go out there and she touches because the water is so much, it's coming up onto the patio. And she puts her paw on it and she looks at me like I did it. Like, it's your fault, Mom, that it looks like this. I'm like, get in the house.
Oh, I'm telling you, these cats. Well, when you say it's raining, and I'm just thinking, oh, think about the plants that could grow. And that's a beautiful reminder of the fact that I told you about a new coffee mug I have, but I told you I was saving it for our chat.
Yes. And I will say I'm super, super tempted to go to Hobby Lobby and see if I can find a bunch.
Do it. Do it. Especially after you see it. Are you ready?
Yes, I want to see. I love it. That is how I pictured it. When you had said it looks like a little terracotta pot, that is so cute.
Yes, thank you. I know.
And I think it's such a part of the brand of what you've got coming out next. And this is the fun part about being an author and figuring out creatively how to tie in marketing things, swag, whatever, to your book. There's fun stuff out there, and then you can just let your creative part go and enjoy and have fun. And I think that is one of the best parts.
Yeah, I do too. And it also is fun because and a beautiful reminder that we are bigger than our books. We are the brand. We are the thread. We are the glue. But it's also fun because when I went to the store this weekend, I was looking for bins for my office, and I walked by and one of my kids goes, "Oh, this is funny." And I'm like, I need all of them. I'm like, I need all of them. It's not just funny, it's like amazing, but it's also, it plays like a surround sound on your book and your message. And so next week, Jen, we will be, I'll share a little bit more about what I have up my sleeves in regards to this new mug. But I definitely was excited when I found that. And can I tell you the honest truth? I actually thought it was a planter. I didn't, when I bought it, I didn't, I thought, oh, funny, it's a planter that looks like a mug. And then I read it, I'm like, it's a mug. I'm crazy.
Yeah. There's no hole in the bottom.
No, I was just looking, no hole.
So that's how you know it's a mug and not a planter.
I know. And they have a green version that says Crazy Plant Lady instead. So I bought all those too.
Crazy Plant Lady, Crazy Cat Lady.
I know.
All of it.
I know. And they don't really go together, Jen, because cats and plants. So what do you do when I don't know. I don't know
either.
But
I killed all the plants that I had. The 2 plants I had, I killed them all. Benign neglect, or not very benign, actually, since I killed them.
I used to kill them until I got my kids involved, and now they know Saturdays we walk around and we evaluate how are our plants. Are the plants something that, do they need help? Do they need to be repotted? Whatever. So now they're a part of that process too. But I've also found my one cat, I only have one cat that eats plants. I have found that he gets his taster bite and realizes he doesn't like it. And so we went to a greenery shop this weekend. That's not what it's called. What's it called? Plant store. I don't know.
Plant store, the nursery.
The nursery. Thank you. This weekend. And they gave us some cat grass that you can plant for indoors. So we're going to.
They love that. I had also catnip growing, and I had to be careful though, because they would have eaten the whole plant. I mean, I had to just pull leaves off. I have 2 of the 3 are completely obsessed with catnip. Have you seen the little roller balls of catnip that you stick on? They have sticky on the back, so you can stick them to the wall or whatever. No. And they love them because they rub their faces all over it, and they think it's fantastic. And it doesn't, there's a segment of our carpet where we used to sprinkle the catnip, and they roll in it and everything. And then they still, there's a rug there, and they've chewed the edge of the rug because they're so obsessed with the catnip. So
Oh my gosh.
I wouldn't do that again. But
Oh my gosh. No, but you know what? This is a beautiful segue into the importance of the problem solution part of visibility work, because
yeah.
I bet you now that you've said that out loud, Jen, you're going to get some Facebook ads. You're going
Oh,
to
right.
see things out there that go, oh, well, I can fix your carpet. Just like I'm highly confident that I found the crazy cat lady box because of my
Oh,
search.
yeah. I get it in Facebook too. I get the crazy cat lady box ads in Facebook.
I thought of you this weekend because they had a hat that was on clearance this weekend that had cats on it. And I was like, I didn't tell her when the tumbler was on clearance. I should tell her about the hat. And I'm like, no, I'm going to hold back. She's good. I am the crazy cat lady and now the crazy plant lady.
Yes. Hey, there are worse things to be crazy about.
Yes. Yeah, I know. Actually,
I know.
absolutely. And when it connects back to the stuff that you're writing about,
Mhm.
and it does become a part of your visibility strategy. So I actually have a really purposeful ideas on what I will be doing with my multitude of crazy plant lady cups that go as a part of my visibility strategy
Yeah.
in regards to a new book that I'm working on that will be coming out soon. So yes, what a beautiful transition, Jen, to our conversation and our continued topic on visibility. So we've done a lot of conversations and talks about the importance of like being seen and getting heard, making sure that the right people see us and hear us and engage with us and buy from us. But I've had many authors ask me, you know, well, what should I be sharing? Like, what should I be I know I need to be visible, but like, what are the things that I need to be sharing? And, you know, we'll do a quote from this book later, but if you guys hadn't read this book, I mean, go pick up a copy. Marcus Sheridan's book, They Ask You Answer. I mean, it's almost like an ongoing content Bible, right? Like
It really is. Yeah. And I was actually thinking about it the other day, as I've been doing some tweaking to my website. But, you know, people want as much information as they can to make a decision.
Yeah.
And so that's his whole point, is that don't hold back.
Right.
Don't try to, you know, be cagey or whatever, and waste everybody time. So in his case, he was a pool, like they did the in-ground pools. And so he wanted to immediately eliminate anyone that wanted an above ground pool, because they don't do that. Anyone who couldn't afford an in-ground pool. And so sometimes people have no idea what they cost. And so if you can get the people that are not going to be your customer out of the way, that is a huge benefit. And I know, and I've said this before, authors will say, my book is for everybody. Your book is not for everybody. If it's for everybody, it's for nobody.
Yes, and you have to know who your person is for, and it's not just that now everybody could probably benefit from it, Jen.
Yeah, there's some level.
Who are the people who need it, like at their core need it. When they hear about it, there's no question that they're going to go and purchase. That's your target audience or audiences. And you know something Marcus recommends, and I think anybody listening today or later should do, and almost like put on your calendar to do this quarterly, is make a list of the people, of those people and the questions that they are asking you.
Yeah. Yes.
Sometimes you can uncover those questions in the reviews that people share.
Yes.
Like sometimes that will highlight things. Sometimes it's in a card. Actually, yesterday, I'll pull it out. My husband does home health, and he, you know, travels around and does physical therapy, home health. And you get really close to patients when you're in their homes. Right. And he finds that he tells a lot of people what I do, which I think is, you know, Jen, as you know, people think authors are cool. I mean, yeah, I think they're cool. I don't know that we're as cool as they think they are, but they think whatever. But she was asked if she could get a copy of my book. And I have, did I know you back then? No, I didn't. I don't think we were connected, Jen, at that point. I was headed to a women's retreat, and I go to pull my book stack out of my storage space, and we had a leak and all my books were ruined.
And tell me about this. Yes.
There were tears. Oh yeah. They asked for the cover again. It is They Ask You Answer with Marcus Sheridan.
Marcus Sheridan.
Don't look at my nails. Yes. So anyways, I lost all of my books, my whole inventory, and
Mm,
I was headed to a retreat. So I cried myself a river, and my husband said, "Go to the retreat. I got this." And he took my books and he laid them all over the rooms that in
mm,
the house to dry out and said, "These books weren't meant for you, and we're going to give them away." And so
mm,
I said, "Okay." And so it's proof that when you that happened. And so I got a card from an author that was, or an aspiring author
mm.
who was is one of my husband's patients and had questions and wanted copies, so we gave them to her. But even these little notes that people shared with you
Yeah.
tell you something about the types of problems that they have and that the things they're looking for. So Marcus recommends sit down and just, I mean, you could probably only, you could 10 minutes, you could probably get it done. All the
Mhm.
questions people have ever asked you, and or questions that you might think about when you're thinking about other people's stuff. You know,
Right.
like, who's this book for? How is it going to transform me? How much does it cost? Does it come in audio, or what's the options? Do you speak on the topic? Can I get a book discount? I don't care, whatever. All the things
Right.
that people have asked.
Yeah.
And that should be the basis of what you start sharing in your visibility work. Now,
Yes.
you know,
Absolutely.
true
Easy to
storytelling,
do.
but yes.
Website, blog posts, little
Yeah.
blurbs on social media. Those are the things that start grabbing people's attention. And
Yeah.
this works for fiction too.
Yeah.
You can
Absolutely.
absolutely, why do people read your genre? And what little things can you pull out that will be intriguing to someone and make them go, I want to know more about that. I'm curious about that. And where is your audience? I mean, I think that's the other thing to think about is, well, where are they? There's certain social media apps that different generations are on. Younger people, tend to generally be more on TikTok and Instagram, and older people,
Mhm.
Facebook and whatever. Right. So, and then, yeah,
Yep.
you never know what the latest, whatever thing is going to be, but knowing where your people are. I
Mhm.
was just reading a Jane Friedman article today about Wattpad. And this is where, and she was right. In my assumption, it was fan fiction. It was younger people.
Mhm.
Wattpad is a website, app,
Mhm.
something in the
What is
cloud.
it?
Wattpad, Wattpad. And what you do is you post
Pad. Okay.
parts of your book while you're writing it,
Mhm.
and you get immediate
Oh.
feedback. And it does skew younger, definitely. But there have been, in her article, she was talking about older writers who use this to get feedback because their target audience hangs out on
Listen in.
Wattpad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought, well, that's really interesting. I mean, there's something super powerful about that immediate feedback.
Yeah.
This is why writing groups have been so powerful over the years, critique groups, working with a book coach,
Mhm.
any of that kind of thing. It will help you get to those questions a lot faster. Sometimes we're so close to our own work
Yeah.
that we think the things we already know. Oh, what did our business coach call this? It was like it's like expert bias or something. Like you
Oh,
because you know it,
yes.
you think other people know it, and
Right.
you don't realize that no, other people
They do.
actually don't know that.
They
So
don't. No, they don't.
sometimes you don't come up with a
Right.
question because you don't have that kind of feedback. And so if you have the ability to get that kind of feedback from people, that is what's really, really huge is, obviously earlier in your process is the better, as we've talked a lot about figuring out who your
Mhm.
target audience is. But even afterwards, reviews are sort of, post information
Yeah.
after you've written the book, but they are also very, very helpful for how you move things forward. And it'll tell you a little bit more about who your audience is, the bad as well as the good. So who
Yep.
you repel is almost as important as who you
Yes.
attract, right?
Yes. Yes.
Because if someone buys your book, they're not your audience, and
Yeah.
they are like, this was not my cup of tea, and they don't really leave you a great review, and they don't tell their friends about it, like that does not help you. You
Yeah.
want someone who will read the book and go, "Oh my gosh, you are reading my mail. You know exactly what I'm dealing with, and I
Yep.
got to tell my friends all about it." Like that's what you want. You don't want lukewarm or people that don't care or that people that buy your book and don't read it because it's never for them.
Mhm.
You want that powerful connection, and so
Yeah.
This is why, they ask you answer is super powerful, but also being able to circle back with people to find out if the things you think they're asking are actually the things that they're asking.
Exactly. Well, and that's why I say create a pulse in your business or in your
Mhm.
writing work. Where is it once a month, once a quarter, once a year, even
Yeah.
that you sit back and reflect on the types of things people have been asking? So, the reason that your visibility content that you're sharing should be in alignment with the things people are asking is because that is how they are searching.
Mhm.
And people are searching for these answers.
Yeah.
And if you happen to be the one that is offering the answer, you automatically are upticked on the trust factor. There's
Mhm.
this feeling like if, I was doing some research recently about for something for an author, and I was just trying to get some insights. And someone was like, "Oh, I can give you all of this. Let's schedule a call." And that's it. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, can you just tell me like what's the cost? I don't want to
Right.
get on the phone. You're
No.
hiding something. I know that you know what the cost is.
Right.
Why can't I figure this out or find out?" And so it automatically ups it. But the other thing, and actually I just shared this yesterday on the podcast on the Empowered Author podcast episode for the week. I don't want you to become robotic in what you're sharing. It's not how much is your book and you write a blog. My book is $15. That's not it.
Right.
We are lucky as authors that we have storytelling on our side.
Yes.
And that
Yes.
is that is our
Mhm.
secret sauce. People connect with people, people buy from people. So the person needs to be felt in these responses, and that vulnerability and honesty and clarity and genuine feedback and insights is what's going to nurture people who are searching for you and leveraging visibility, like what we're doing right now, right? Like our live streams, we're answering questions everybody has asked us,
Right.
but we do it through a way to help people consume it in a way that's comfortable and understanding for them. It's like when you are a guest on people's podcasts. I don't, there was a author we were helping get some podcast guesting on, and he got one. And one of them, the title of the podcast was not a direct title that was in alignment with his book. And he called me and he's like, "How am I going to talk about this on that podcast?"
Mhm.
And I said, "Oh my gosh." Like, so the cornerstone of your book's message is exactly what this is. So we're getting you visibility work and visibility efforts. But if you go on and you just say, "Buy my book, buy my book. Did you buy my book? Hurry up and buy my book." You won't sell any books.
You've got to give value. That's the thing. People have to feel like you're giving them something of value for their attention, because in this world with a lot of noise, people's
Yeah.
attention is valuable. So you need to respect that and give them value for that. And then they're going to feel like, wow, if I got this for free,
Right.
what else could I get if I paid the cost of a book? If you think about the amount of knowledge and learning that it contains is so
Oh my God.
negligible. $20 book versus a $600 course or whatever,
Right.
right? I mean, they're not completely equivalent, but you can get a lot of knowledge out of a
Right.
book.
Oh
Before the
gosh.
internet, I mean, I lived in the years before the internet,
I
and
remember those years.
our little small town library was like
Mhm.
literally one room, and it had these little sections. And
Oh my
my goal, because there was really nothing else to do in this little town, we lived in the middle of orange groves. So we could ride our bike. The library was on one corner and Dairy Queen was on the other. And so we could ride
Oh,
our bikes down there
I love it.
and go to the library and go to Dairy Queen. and,
I
um,
love it.
and my goal was to read. I read through all the children's section. I read through all the young adult section. And I started working my way through like history and biography and stuff. And I remember thinking, and the magic of the card catalog and how you could request through interlibrary loan any book. And I thought, everything you need to know is in a
It's
book.
here.
And
It's there.
I have lived my whole life sort of around that idea of, yes, now we have the internet, and yes, we have the ability to Google things, which is super fantastic. I remember going into the books in print and periodicals to look up articles to try and find information about something. And oh my goodness, crazy back in the day before Google. It could take you forever to find something. But I love that we have all of this information, but
Mhm.
Mr. Google is not quite the same as a book. You're getting what Mr. Google thinks you should get,
Right.
whereas a book is going to give you so much greater depth and knowledge, and it's curated information. I mean, there's no lack of information out there,
Right.
but what is relevant and what do you need to know and what's going to be laser focused on your particular problem, that's what you're going to find in a book. And that kind of information is just, I mean, it's invaluable. And I mean, so you look at $20 for a book and you think, oh my gosh, you could change your life. I mean, how many books
Your life.
have
Yep.
changed your life, have made you think about something differently, have given you a skill or
Yes.
opened your eyes to a different world? Like there's just, you can't put a dollar amount on that. And that's
No,
just
but
the magic of what we do.
it is. And you've surround sounded this concept of the fact that as thought leaders and authors, we have a solution to people's problems.
Yeah, we do.
So, right. So when you are gifted opportunities for visibility, whether it is something you're doing or you're on someone else's stage, take advantage of that and think about it through the lens of how you can continue to be a solution to problems. So, I'm thinking, I've got a couple of speaking gigs coming up. So I'll use some of mine as an example. I'm going to a writer's retreat and I'm going to obviously have my book, Make Your Author Impact, available to purchase. Now, if I just get up there and say, buy my book, I'm not going to tell you much about it. I'm just going to tell you that you got a problem and I know you want to make an impact. No,
don't do that.
Don't do that. Listen to the needs. So I have done analysis on the attendees, understanding from the meeting planner who's going to be in the room. What are their struggles? Talk to me about how far in marketing are they or not. Help me understand, what that is about and how can I serve them? I bet you I will end up selling books, right?
Yes.
Lorraine, I love that she's like, how many books have changed your life? You cannot put a dollar value on that. You can't.
So
right.
true.
Right. So think of the platform that you're getting. So like if it's on your own platform, for instance, if people take time to come to your website, to look at your social media, to listen to your podcast or your live streams, what is it that you can share that will shorten and deepen that trust window and the trust factor?
Right.
And how can you speak to their problems in a way that does offer solutions? Because I can tell you, if you just continue to give more problems to their problems, my favorite thing, Jen, is when I actually had a chat yesterday with a writers group that might have me come speak, and they were trying to understand the different values of what I could bring to the table, and I was like, I could do it all. There's a lot in book marketing I could do.
Right.
I said, but my favorite thing is really understanding what your people are struggling with so that I can see their shoulders go down and they can breathe. Because I would say the underlying thread of what I bring to the table is that you don't have to do it all immediately and don't have to do it all today. And you will still be fantastic and great things can still come. And let me tell you where the next right step is for you.
Well, and this is why when you hear on podcasts or speakers or whatever, where they're like, well, I'll tell you this little bit, but if you want to know the rest, you have to buy my book. And I'm like, that just feels so sleazy. Like nobody appreciates that. I appreciate the podcast hosts and the speakers and authors who say things like, let me explain to you why you need this information. And they're like, and you're like, yes, I totally resonate. Now, yes, when you want to know the nitty gritty, the step-by-step, of course, you're going to go buy their product, but they're not holding back on you. Obviously there's tons more information. And like you're talking about things that can be more personalized to where you are in your situation. But if I don't understand what I'm going to get when I buy your product or service or book or whatever it is, I'm not going to do it. And that's Marcus Sheridan's whole premise, is that the more information you give people, the more likely they are to buy, not less. And you're going to weed out the people that you are not the target for. So don't do that. I'm not going to tell you everything. I mean, that feels very stingy. And I will say, when people do not respond to stinginess, they respond to generosity. So be generous.
And especially in today's world where you can Google so much, right?
So much information.
Don't let them go elsewhere. Hold on. Love on them. They will feel that. They will appreciate that. And then they will purchase your book or your services or what have you. Now in your visibility work, you do need to talk about your products. And
Absolutely.
So there's beautiful ways to do this. So if you get a speaking engagement and you get on stage and you don't have a copy of your book up there and you don't read from it, shame, friends. Read from it. It doesn't have to be, let me open the book and read all the things. But it might be part of your closing or your opening where you say one thing from it. That's a trigger. You don't ever have to say you're going to sell a book at the end of the event. they now visibly know it. If you are, on a podcast hosting or a guest and you're talking about a service or a solution and you're not acknowledging that you offer a solution, then
Right.
you're missing a piece, right? And
Yep.
so what I've enjoyed about that is, and this is something that I've been really working on doing, I could talk about, oh, well, I did it right now. I didn't even mean to. It's a part of my DNA. But I was
Mhm.
like, oh, yeah, well, when I was helping an author get on
Mhm.
a
Yeah.
podcast,
Right.
this is what, okay, so did I come out and say that we do that? I don't have to because
Right.
it's obvious, right?
This is part
But
of what you
it's
do all the time.
just a part of
Mhm.
what you do. Shannon saying, I love your statement. You don't have to do it all right now. You don't. Like,
No.
take the
It's a
shoulders out of your
lifetime.
ears. It's a lifetime. Your book is not a banana and you aren't.
That's right.
That's one of my things. And I mean, people are, oh, hey, Zan. Yep. They want to support you. That's so true.
Mhm.
People go, Stephanie, what does that mean? Your book's not a banana. And you've read it, Jen, with the book.
And I'm thinking of the photos you took with Chanel with the bananas on your head. That's what I think of every time.
I know, but it's true. It's
They're
the
very
best piece
cute.
of marketing advice I
It's true.
received.
People
And
remember it.
it
Yeah.
is. It was, your book does not have a shelf life. I like to add to it and say, your book is not a piece of produce. It's more like the canned peas with too much
Right.
sodium, right? It's
Right.
not going to go bad at all.
Right.
You can open
Yeah.
it at any time and wash off the sodium and
Right.
breathe life in it to it again. So just
True.
ensure when you have, whether your visibility efforts are on your platform or somebody else's, that you're being really methodical in what you're doing in a way where people get a glimpse in how they can continue to deepen their relationship and engagement with you. Even if it's that, come on my email list, I'll keep the conversation going, but do it in a way of value. One of the mottos I have over here is, and I say it a lot, don't give up, don't give in, don't give way, give value. I don't want you, if you throw in the towel and walk away on your visibility work, I always say you're being selfish. There are people who need what you're sharing.
They do. Yes, you have something to offer, and you have to remember that you're not begging people. You are not in the position of the supplicant saying, please, please. No, you have something to offer, and you have a solution to a problem, and you just need to connect with the people who have that problem. And that's it. You're out there searching for people that you can help. And if you can remember that, you're going to feel so much more calm and so much more confident, because again, you're not begging. You're saying, I have something to help you. I have a solution for your problem. Let me help you.
To the problem. All right. Well, let me read from Mr. Mark
Sheridan.
He goes in this chapter. I mean, gosh, I have so many underlines in the whole book, but this one I think just rings true and brings home what we were saying. He says, bring it back to trust. Trust is the business we're all in, and this will never change. That is
true. And when people feel like you're holding out on them, you have broken that trust.
So it is hard to build trust and easy to break.
Yeah.
And don't do it. Just give value, give you, and move on. Yeah. Thank you, Lorraine. Great tip. Yep. Absolutely. Read from your book from the
sure.
Don't question it. Use that as an opportunity to passively and proactively acknowledge you got a book. Talk about the clients or the people you help or how you help or your business or your plant mug or whatever you want to do. Right? Talk about it, but through the lens of value, not I've got a book, you better go buy it. This was a good chat today, Jen. Next week, we're continuing. I know. I was just pulling up our notes for next week. Okay, so next week is going to be a good one. If you participated this week, you should tune in next week. You get a visibility opportunity. How in the world do you leverage it? I just got off a call today from someone who goes, oh, I got this big O thing and I've done nothing. And I'm like, all righty, we're going to fix that. So next week, we're going to dig deep into that. Jen, any last words for today?
As always, authors, you have power. Your words have power and your message has power. So we invite you to bring that every week as we go to the page and beyond, discussing all things books and marketing. So have a great week. Stay dry and get some writing done. It'd be good.
Yes, go get some writing done. Have a good time, guys.
Bye-bye.